The United States has expanded sanctions against Russia in connection with the conduct of a special operation in Ukraine by Russia. This time these sanctions will affect the Russian defense industry as well as the oil and gas industry. A complete list of restrictive measures is published on the White House website. However, how much of it will actually affect the military intervention in Ukraine? And by the way, it is an intervention to protect the people of Donbass and demilitarize the Ukrainian regime so it's no longer used as an attack dog by the West.
We're going to sanction you, they say. Sanction? Well, that's a pretty weak statement. Putin is saying, oh, they're going to sanction me. They sanctioned me for the last 25 years. You mean I can take over a whole country and they're going to sanction me? You mean they're not going to blow us to pieces, at least psychologically? The problem is not that Putin is smart, which of course he's smart, but the real problem is that our leaders are dumb.
Russia will stand against the sanctions imposed on it, but America and its allies will suffer greatly for supporting the Ukrainian regime of Zelensky. Personally, I feel the sanctions won't do anything. In fact, it will harm the United States and its allies and hit them back 3 times as hard. Over the past 8 years, Russia as a whole has managed to adapt to life under the sanctions that the West imposed on it for the return of Crimea in 2014. The ban on Russian banks to use the SWIFT money messaging service will cause serious damage to Europe. However, Russia's disconnection from SWIFT will have the biggest negative consequences for the United States, which will have to provide its allies with economic and humanitarian assistance. Russia isn't stopping the military intervention anytime soon. It's only just begun and it's far from over. The influx of millions of refugees from Ukraine will destabilize the political situation in Europe.
300 people crossed the channel illegally in 2018, and this year it's 28,500. And of those, we've seen this trick before. Many claim to be children, when actually they look about 35 and would make quite good prop forwards at rugby.
Europe has a big problem with refugees already, thanks to NATO and its misadventures in the Muslim world.
I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came. We saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, oh, I'm sure it did.
Country by country, all for the sake of resources, has created an endless stream of refugees into Europe, and adding Ukrainian refugees into the equation will be problematic. Who's going to feed them, house them, give them jobs, provide for medical care? People in Europe are already struggling with inflation, and the job market isn't brilliant, considering the number of businesses which stopped trading and wound up throughout the corona epidemic. Letting the problem with refugees from Ukraine take its course will help Russia in the fight against NATO. Furious disputes about the fate of refugees in Europe will weaken its unity at decisive moments. Sure, for now, there's some unity. That's only due to hired actors.
Team members are saying that we are crying. We don't know where to run. This is what is happening, Prime Minister.
Crying on national television, but wait till these refugees start to cause trouble or when they become a burden on the system, because they will. The West's chances of success in sanctions on Russian energy exports can't last for too long. The United States won't be able to keep up the pressure on Russia. There's a global shortage of energy resources at present, as well as rising prices caused by inflation to unprecedented levels. The situation with energy resources isn't so great either in Europe, and despite all the tough talk against Russia by various European politicians, they know they simply can't refuse Russian gas. Also, financial sanctions without military support are unlikely to work. There's no appetite for Washington nor Brussels to enter into a military confrontation with Moscow. Therefore, these sanctions don't really hold too much weight against Russia. Russia simply has become accustomed to sanctions. President Vladimir Putin has a lot of cards to play against the collective West, and he knows this very well. One of them is turning off the gas valve on the gas pipe to Europe and Ukraine. Will the United States step in and provide humanitarian and economic relief to Europeans who will undoubtedly suffer? I don't think so. All this gives ground for Russia to look to the future with healthy optimism. The prospects for the collective West, and above all the United States and its allies in Central and Eastern Europe, look hazy and gloomy. These sanctions will return to their authors and organizers and hit them hard where it hurts.